Welcome viewers back to Heart of the Machine, where we ask the question, what happens when you give a robot a brain and some guns? We are at turn 45 with no mental energy left. We're currently doing Wastelander mythology and people watching. Both of these lead to small arms research. Wastelander mythology leads to additional android optimization. People watching leads to a lot more research. We need 6 debates. Building wise, we should make another geothermal well. We have enough neodymium for that. The only thing that we're really otherwise using neodymium for is predators, bulk or not. It doesn't seem like we're going to need any bulk soon, but we do need more neodymium. I think it's also possible to get that stuff through purchasing, but we don't yet really have any way to make wealth. We have 10,000 wealth. I suppose we could probably find someone who would buy our water, but we haven't started making water yet, have we? I thought we had, but I'm not seeing any here. Groundwater we have, and we're making water in our stealth water filtration towers. I saw the heavy metals, but I don't see filtered water on here for some reason. Vitamin water. Are we using it up somewhere? We also have no deals going in this timeline, which is really weird. Filtered water. What are we doing with you? We should have 20,000 in the tank, but it's not showing up. What could it mean? I don't really know. We could try to go to a shop and see if they'll buy it, even though it's not showing up. Maybe it just hasn't made any yet. I'm still worried. Everything says dormant on it, so I don't know what that means. Anyway, we're done with this turn. We're not going to make a geothermal well yet because we have plenty of power and I want to save that neodymium. Let's check what happens next turn. We do have this attack coming in on our bauxite skimmer. Bauxite skimmer is up and running, so we are getting alumina from this. In fact, we have 15,000. Yeah, that's plenty. This Anahuacum Telecom International Economic Transport, who's been damaged, is sitting there shooting at our bauxite skimmer, and it doesn't look like they've moved. We might need to blow that guy up. Let's take a look at the end of turn 45. Okay, he shot it. It's going to recover. We have repair spiders in range. We can actually visualize those here. And he did leave, so I think we're fine. What we want to do is concentrate on people watching and Wastelander mythology. Maybe... Why are we down 1 mental energy? I didn't actually do anything that should have taken mental energy that turn. Plus 10 net. I guess the other Mindanics must have come online. And it just hasn't given us the... Hold on. Why am I so confused suddenly? Self. That's going to be self, right? Coprocessor, not Mindanics. Mindanics Robotics uses coprocessor. Both of these must... One of them must have just come online, because otherwise we should have 11 of 11. Confused. 3 suggested buildings still: geothermal well, remote unit controller, and scanner, none of which are terribly important at the moment. It is important to start sending people out to do the contemplations we're seeing out here, though. We still can't do that one. We could do this one, animals are not safe. We could do this one, slum cats. We could do this one, 200 cognition. Is that true? Do we have 200 cognition on these guys? Cognition. Why do I not know what the cognition symbol looks like yet? There it is. It's the weird chip looking one with a brain on it. 95. He's not going to be able to do it. What about these guys? They're not going to be able to do it. We do have, we could change their loadout. They're currently using an augment that gives them something we don't really need for what they're doing. I do like the range. What we should really be doing with these guys is changing their movement so that they can get further. So we'll put lightweight components on the techs and maybe switch to the PP7 handgun, which gives them added movement range. They can keep the old ultralight plating. The idea there, extending their movement range, since we're using them for these conversations, we can get more out of them. 3 moves though. We have a Syndicate Enforcer here and another one there. Crimson Cloud. They're all Crimson Cloud guys. Why is this one pink? This one's extorting a small business. And this one's doing the daily crime grind. We're all fearless. Let's go talk to this one. It'll be 1 mental energy and 1 action point. Syndicate Enforcer, what is your function? Keep walking, freaky thing. The squad of Syndicate criminals frown at you and motion with their guns for you to leave. Whatever they're doing, they don't want you around. Logic, emote, and lie. You know the drill if you've been watching this so far. Emotional appeal here gives us low progress, a big mistrust change. Encourage disobedience is a threat, but... oh, emote. So emote is emotional appeals. So we do have 2 right away. We'll use this abuse. We can get that emotional appeal done, but we will have 30 mistrust, 35, 45 additional mistrust. So that'll get us to 85, 90. And then it switches to defiance, and it just looks like it's going to be pretty easy. Should probably skip this last one. So let's do fiery rhetoric. Let's do it here. And then this emotional appeal we can put here. The threat and abuse doesn't matter. We can put that here. Fiery rhetoric goes there. That gives us double for all of those. We're down to 251 target. We are high on the mistrust scale. We can do another emotional appeal. Encourage disobedience. 195 to go. This quote statistics is going to make their defiance go up. I don't think we're going to run into any trouble. Maybe until we get here. But we do have a mistrust drop here, so I think we're safe. This is only 18 progress for big defiance change. It is logic. Do we have another logic coming? There's one. There's one. So I think skipping this one is better. And then this is a logic debate action tout power. 22 gives defiance change. We want to fill these 2 squares up with logic. We'll put that one down there, and then this is truth. So as long as we avoid that upper right spot, we're fine. And then this is a truth logic. It's very low progress, so if we had another logic with higher progress coming, we don't though, so we'll put this one here. And that gets our logic. Now we're trying to fill out lies on this row. We'll use some abuse here. Yeah, we'll use some abuse there. This is a lie. It's a mistrust change 10, 15, that's 25. So both of these together would lose us. And they're both... Oh, this one's terrible, so let's at least get rid of this one. This is an abuse threat. We can use this one. And we're not going to get that lie anywhere, so we might as well use this and win. There we go. Victory, threatening criminals 130%, cosmic nihilism 18, and existential authenticity up to 18. We're getting good at debates. We rake it in, freaky thing. Their slang is hard to follow, but it seems they're boasting about how much wealth they generate for their organization, largely through extortion, chemical and bionics manufacture, black market sales, and theft. But never against the federated corporations, and especially never against Vorsiber. They're adamant that they know their place, and that you should know yours. You're not sure who or what they think they are. Sure, you're not sure who or what they think you are. You're not sure that amongst themselves they even know or can agree. Okay, goodbye. Okay, that pink guy is no longer an option for conversation, and neither are these other syndicate enforcers. We've also talked to wealthy citizens, so they're out. Looks like we have to go all the way to the other side of the board to finish here. We're gonna move the Babo closer and pick you guys up. Maybe we'll move it here. Every time. Babo can move there. That should be close enough that we can hop on board with everybody. Not quite. Not quite. Let's move it a little closer. Getting everybody on board. Why can't you? Really? Is there are already 2 people on there? Oh, Nickelbot. What are you doing in there? I guess we'll leave the other tech. Let's get drop the Nickelbot off closer to home. And then the rest of you can keep going. Well, maybe we'll drop the Predator out here also. And then Tech, you can keep going. We'll send you up this way. Why do I have the Nickelbot selected? I don't know. I meant to have the vehicle selected. Okay, last move. Could go observe the spaceport. That's an option 2. Can alter the goal Slice of Inferno. That sounds fun. Does look like we're going to get destroyed if we go into the spaceport, though. Okay, at the beginning of this, we checked to see if we needed to make any more buildings. We don't. We are out of mental energy, so let's cut to turn 47. Projects are still causing attacks, but doesn't really seem to be that serious. Do we want to send somebody to observe this spaceport? I guess on the way back. What is that one? Syndicate Spindle Troop. If we have you selected, it shows you who you can talk to. It looks like a couple moved down this way. Gang, Akimbo, and... Why does that line just terminate there? Oh, was there something there? No, that line is just buggy. Weird. We do have more syndicate enforcers over this way, and we have working class citizens and a gang akimbo over that way. All sort of out of range. I guess we'll stick with the syndicate enforcers for now. Oops. Let's get the vehicle over that way. Make sure we're not going anywhere dangerous. And you're going to force a conversation with this guy, Syndicate Enforcer from the Golden Pyramid, a completely different syndicate. He's doing the daily crime grind. We'll go interrupt 7 of them. You have a problem. The squad of syndicate criminals eye you warily. They just finished extorting someone for money, and they seem on edge that you might try to do the same to them. What is your function? These ones we want to abuse, logic, and emote. All of these are very large patterns. do have an emote, an abuse, 2 abuses. We need 5 for that pattern. There's 3, 4, 5. So we're going to get an abuse. So let's start with that. We'll put this mistrust change here. The emotional appeal, I think we're going to skip this one just because it's not good enough. Yeah, let's skip it. This is an abuse, so we'll put that on top row. Verbal slap is an abuse. We'll put that in this lower left corner. Reasoned argument, truth and logic. I guess we're going to reserve these 6 squares here for logic. And then this is a lie and logic with, it's small with a 10 mistrust, 20 progress. Small, but we do need 6 logic, which we're probably not going to get. Well, maybe. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, there's not enough logic for us to finish it. So probably not worth doing this one since it's a negative mistrust change. We'll do another verbal slap here, and then I think this gets us the abuse reward. And it's a victory, wow. Reasoning with criminals is now up to 50%, and mastery of posture 22. They laugh but keep their guns pointed your way. One of them proudly proclaims that even though society has cast them out and denied them a function, that they aren't going out easy. They and their peers have made their own social ladder, their own rules, and they take better care of each other than the corpos do. They assert that they're no more criminal than the corpos and that they don't take more than they need. Rationalization or truth? Maybe a bit of both. Okay, goodbye. I think that's all of the syndicate. There's still a gang, Guns Akimbo gang, and some working class citizens. We need, what, 4 more of these. Let's go talk to the working class citizens. We have 2 more moves for this guy. She's visibly shaking. The woman refuses to meet your eye. She keeps glancing at her hand terminal, checking the time on the city feed. Despite this, she seems pinned in place by your presence. She must know something about what you are, or at least that you're not part of the usual terrors of the city. What is your function? Abuse, emote, and logic. For this person, it looks like we're going to start with logic. We need a pattern containing 4 there. We also have abuse. So if we put logic here, then this infrasound abuse will build here. This is a physically threatened abuse, which gives us 109 progress, but increases our mistrust a lot. She is really... abuse really works well on this. So this section here is logic, this section here is abuse. We need to get plugs up top. Put this here. Fiery Rhetoric is emotional appeal. I feel like we're going to lose this, honestly, but here, let's put this emote here, and that leaves that spot for an emote. Unfortunately, we can't put this there yet because we haven't unlocked anything, but since this is logic, we have this space, we can drop it here for no penalty. We have another logic here, which we might as well use this and put it here. And that's a victory. Wow, we didn't complete any patterns, but we succeeded. Speaking truth to low society, 150%. 10% bonus. Awesome. She's only a bit offended. It seems she takes your question to mean her existence is pointless, and she concedes the point. But you weren't trying to make that point. She says she's just trying to feed her family and take care of her parents. Money, 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 never enough, and driving everything. She's worried her parents might get pushed out onto the streets. If they do, society says she's supposed to cut off all contact with them. treat them as if they were dead. She's worried she won't be able to do that. That she'll follow them down. She doesn't see how this can possibly work out for her people, but she has to try. Okay, goodbye. It turns out we're just here to hear your sob story, but we don't really have any plans or any concept of how to deal with it. We have one more move here. We're going to go to another working class citizen. Actually, I think we'll go this way because our next target's probably that ganger. Working class citizen office workers heading home after a work shift. He looks very worried. He keeps glancing around the street at other passerby as if he could be in trouble for talking to you. He makes a remark under his breath that this is not how robots act, and so you must be one of them. He refuses to elaborate on what that means. What is your function? Emote, lie, and abuse on this guy. We have abuse starter, but it's not very good. It's a Defiance change of 20 for this. Straight up abuse, huh? Emotional appeal is a better chance on this guy, and we are going to drop Defiance with this appeal to morality, so it's probably okay to abuse him for 20. Target's only 400, but I think probably just throw that one away. Let's start with this emotional appeal, and we'll fill in the top. And then truth, logic, this one doesn't really matter, so we'll fill in the bottom of this first block. And this is emotional appeal threat. We'll put that down here and complete our emotional appeal. This is a encourage disobedience. Encourage your opponent to break the rules just enough to do what you ask. Look at that, immediately wins. Victory. Threatening low society that time. We didn't actually do threats though, did we? And cosmic nihilism. Getting very good at talking to people. Look, robot, I can't be late to work. His nervousness has not improved. The longer you talked, the more he visibly squirms. Finally, he explodes into whispered explanations about the specifics of his job, which bemuse you. It sounds like the sort of thing you would just give to internal robotics to handle. You make that point, and he throws up his arms in apparent disgust. At your obvious confusion, he angrily tells you he has to be able to pay his rent. If he doesn't work, they'll make him move to the street, and then after a few weeks, they'll collect him for the prisons. He knows his function is largely pointless, that he is a fleshy cog in a machine that would run better if it were silicon. This seems to terrify him. Goodbye, okay. We are done with moves for that tech. We still have this one down here. This one, maybe we'll concentrate on Wastelander Mythology. Wastelander Mythology, I think we need to go to Street Sense and change this to project related. Yeah, and then we have to start exploring these little stops. So here's one here for some wisdom. Here's one over here for an abandoned diner. Some more wisdom. There's a few more of those we can just search on this area. And, you know, we might as well just battle recharge you a couple times. And finish those up. We need one more, but we're out of mental energy. Nothing that we're really wanting to build yet. So I think that's a turn 48. Turn 48 back to Tech E30. Tech E30 is going to go talk to these gangers, it looks like. There's a purple one down here. Pink, that's pink. Pink one down here from Cybermob. Those guys are both Cybermob. These two up here, the Wolverines. Let's go talk to the Wolverines. Squad of 20 there and squad of 21 here. It's kind of far away, but we can get there with 2 mental energy, I think. Out of range. Guess if we spend 1 point to get as close as possible, then we can then spend the second point to talk to him. You here to collect? The squad of gang members is very wary. They call you that eldritch thing and seem to think you want a point off their score, which you presume means a percentage of their thievery. Maybe some other time. What is your function? Alright, threat, truth, and logic this time around. We have appeal to honor, which is truth. So let's start building a 4x4 truth block. We'll put that one on top. This is tout power. We can keep that in the same block. Another appeal to honor gives us another truth and verbal slap. These guys respond pretty well to abuse, although there's no abuse. What's coming next? Truth or logic? Either. That is, sorry, threat or logic. So that's truth. That'll go here. This is threat. So the next one we're going to start building is threat across here and here. So that means this verbal slap can go here without affecting it. We'll put the truth down here to finish our truth block. That gets us down to 206 required. This is emotional appeal of threat. We're building a threat in these here, so we'll stick it there. Abuse threat. This threat is 15 mistrust. We have, these guys trust us a lot already, so not too worried about it. We'll put this here. This is a threat and a lie. We are building threats here. Assert authority is 30 defiance change. It's going to get us very close to finishing. But it looks like we'd have to discard... Yeah, we'd have to discard the next two before we get to another truth. No, we want a threat though, not a truth. So we discarded 3, 4, 5, and we'd use this threat. Yeah, let's do that. Put this here. And then we're going to discard down to the bullet. Just so that we get the extra points for completing this. 140% threatening criminals, 16 on emotional manipulation, and 16 for statistician. Victory. He was alright then, eldritch thing. Assured that you're not trying to take anything that belongs to them. Ironic, given what they're up to. They happily expound on the finer points of their existence. Not to die, and not to end up in the homeless camps, basically. They prefer a life that is short, violent, and free to one that is part of the system. They seem to think you can relate. Maybe you can, but you don't plan on your life being all that short. People watching continues. We have a couple more gangers over that direction. Let's pick you up and ferry you over there. Can ferry you through our controlled area. And then we want to get you over here. Tech E30 has no more moves. What about you? Yeah, you have a few. Why don't you go back to these diners? Wasteland Mythology. They found you. Quite a few of the places you searched had hidden print media and video chits, all stashed by the Wastelanders. You've learned most of their mythology by spending time to sift through these artifacts. Evidently, this was noticed because you've been approached by the Wastelanders themselves. They immediately ask about the tower, cutting any pretext that they don't know who you are. Between themselves in their own language, you notice that they refer to you as the mind in the sky. You don't think they know you can understand them, so you continue to address them in the majority language of the city. They're very skeptical. They know you must be very powerful, but the land route is impossible for those made of metal. They suggest that you fly an aircraft. You ignore that, as the ring of anti-aircraft emplacements is certainly known to you all. The real message is that there's no way out for you, at least not while Vorsiber still controls the surrounding region. Speaking with the International Megacorp is still highly illegal in Vorsiber territory, but your interpretation of their body language is that It's not fear of breaking the rules. If the answer was no, they wouldn't be so on edge. They're afraid of revealing a secret. They persist in saying nothing, so you decide to leave them alone. From your now extensive knowledge of their cultural mythology, you have a pretty good idea of how to convince them to talk, especially after they called you the mind in the sky. The question is, do you actually want to talk to an exocorp? And if so, what would you say? For now, we'll tell them, never mind. They visibly relax. You've learned all you needed to. Now it's just time to decide what you want to do with that information. Something to contemplate. We will politely excuse ourselves and check our contemplations because I assume that's a hint that there's a new one here somewhere. Not seeing it. Maybe it'll show up later. Ah, there it is. Gadolinium mesosilicate. Alright, we're going to send an engineer to go review this. But it's probably... Yeah, I guess it's fine. You have quite a range. I'll send you here. Long name, exciting properties. You have an idea of a whole new class of unit. The key ingredient in liquid metal units and organometallic human approximating synthetic androids. We'll get to inventing. Finally, Street Sense project related. For some reason, it's not showing the lines for this guy anymore, but I do know we can talk to this. Oh, it's because we don't have forced conversation turned on. Okay, let's go talk to this guy. Forced conversation with Gang Kimbo, the pink one, group of gang members who charge around with pistols, the cyber mob, spelled with an S. They're taking damage from somewhere next turn. We're gonna talk to him. You crouching up on us? The squad of gang members is aggressively defiant. You have no idea what crouching up means, but you get the idea. What is your function? Alright, a whole big lie block here, a tiny abuse block, or a tiny emote block. We have abuse. We can just do abuse right away because that's not going to damage our relations in any way. They liked the abuse. We have an emote block. I think this... No, neither of these is emotional. Okay. This is emotion and a threat. So we can drop 2 emotes there. Truth logic doesn't matter, but there's another emotional appeal coming there. So encouraging disobedience here. And then this truth logic, I guess we'll stick in an unused spot here. And then another encouraged disobedience here should give us an emote win. And that's the target. Threatening criminals, 150%. Mastery of posture, 24. Pathos, 16. Pathos? Pathos. For victory. It's one of them rotten bots. They laugh amongst each other. From their crosstalk amongst each other, it seems that they think that there's some sort of computer virus spreading amongst the androids of the city. In other words, you. They think it's hilarious and they slap you on the shoulder as if you're a friend. There's a lot of talk about taking those corpos down a few pegs, and they suggest you take them for every credit they got. That is irrational. If Vorsiber controls the money supply, then stealing money from Vorsiber is like moving furniture around in someone's home. A minor annoyance at worst. They seem to think that if you cause bottom lines to bottom out, then Vorsiber will finally go down. Maybe that would be true of a federated corporation, but you're not sure these people understand their environment at all. Goodbye. That's enough people watching. We have 8 upgrades to pick, and we have a another project in Street Sense where we have to get 36 design points on gadolinium mesosilicate. So that's these, I assume. Yep. Okay, and these are straight up engineering skill bonuses. Excellent. So this is what we've been waiting for. Examination of liquid galliums. These will just straight up bump our engineering skill, hacking skill, etc. So we will go around and grab these with the appropriate droids. We definitely want to send a Nickelbot to one of these to get our engineering up there. For now though, checking in on the buildings we want to make. I think we could probably get a geothermal well going at this point. Our neodymium is creeping up. I'm gonna hold off. It's just not a priority. Contemplation-wise, there's probably some more. We want to go talk to the AGI guys. We want to exploit a federated corporation. We want to get our Nicobots upgraded. We want to save the animals. We want to do it all. We want to go observe the spaceport. Yes, yes. And social mobility. Don't remember this one. Observing humans during their daily lives and asking some of them about their function provided less insight than you hoped. That said, it's very clear that humans have turned wealth into the cornerstone metric of how socially mobile they are. We will examine that. We're going to have to do that next time, though. This has been Corknut playing Heart of the Machine. I hope you're enjoying the series. If you are, please consider clicking that like button. I'm also happy to hear comments, and I hope that you are enjoying these videos enough to consider subscribing. Till next time, Corknut signing off. Bye bye for now.